Hello, what's up YouTube? In this tutorial, I want to show you how you can easily color grade if at all you don't have Capture One as a raw processing software or as a software that you can use to color grade your images. So this is for people that don't have Capture One because sometimes you may have those very difficult situations where but you only have Camera Raw and Photoshop at your hands or at your disposal. So I'm sure can you easily use rather Camera Raw or even Photoshop to color grade your images and have the better and similar results out of your images. And if at all you find the video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button so that YouTube can push and recommend this video to so many people out there. So after doing this, I want to show you a quick before and after because this is what we're going to be achieving in this very tutorial. So this is the quick before and this is the after. So stick around and watch how we can achieve this nice and beautiful result within our Camera Raw or Photoshop. So I'm using rather Camera Raw 12.4, which is slightly older. So I'm just going to show you these adjustments right here, and we're going to go straight into how and the best way to color grade this very image in Camera Raw. So I'm just going to come and I reset every adjustment right here. So I'm just going to reset to default. So this is what I had initially before. So the trick with color grading, you always have to make sure that you first of all correct the lighting issues in the image and also correct or have the best white balance. And usually the best white balance for color grading images is going to be a very warm white balance. That's why I can advise you to always shoot in raw because you have that flexibility and too much information to work with regarding white balance and adjusting the images later on in post production after shooting them. So I'm going to show you a quick before or adjustments right here what I would do to this image. So I feel like the image was slightly overexposed. So I'm just going to come and take down the exposure of the image just like that too. And you can see that even really gets the image to look better. So I take the highlights down just like that to get the information in the shot. I'm also going to do the same for my whites just like that. And just look at how nice and beautiful the image has turned out to look. I'm just going to come and turn up the contrast to make the image really contrasty. Just going to take down the blacks and slightly open up my shadows to get back the information within the darkest areas of this very image. So like I said, a warm image is better to color grade. That is why I'm going to make the image warm regarding the white balance. So after making the basic adjustments right here, I'm just going to come and slightly warm up the image up to around 5,000. That looks okay. So this may be looking odd or weird according to what I've just done to it, but just bear with me or be patient with me as we're working along color grading in Camera Raw. So I'm just going to come down here and I'm just going to take down the vibrance of this image up to around -4 and also slightly desaturate the image. So as we go along, I'm just going to go down straight to my color mixer, and color mixer is basically you have to play around with different colors, and I'm going to be explaining that right now. So hues are basically shades of a given color. For example, if at all I'm hueing the reds towards the right hand side, I'll be making the reds look like the color just below that red color, which is the oranges. You can see this slider moves from the reds to the oranges. So in other hand, if at all I'm playing around with the hues of the oranges and I'm moving the slider of the oranges towards the left hand side, I'll be making the oranges look like the color on top of it, which is the red color, and the opposite is going to be moving it towards the right hand side, which is going to be making the oranges directly or similar to the color below it, which is the yellow. So it basically moves in this kind of direction. So just look at this cursor right here. So if at all I take the reds, it is going to make the reds orange just like that. So it is basically moving in this kind of S format. So hoping you have understood that saturation is the intensity of a given color, or how much of a color that we want in an image. So taking it towards the left hand side is going to remove that given color, and taking it towards the right hand side is going to increase on the intensity of that given color. Then luminance is the brightness or darkness of a given color. So taking up the oranges, for example, towards the right hand side is going to make the oranges brighter in the image, and taking it towards the left hand side is going to make the oranges darker. So this is more of the brightness values of a given color. So after understanding that, we're just going to go straight into color grading this very image. So usually when it comes to skin tones or getting or color grading portraits, I first of all handle the oranges. So I come to the luminous and I darken the oranges. So what this does, it makes the skin look a little bit richer, and it adds that kind of rich skin tone to it. And I'm just going to do the same for my reds, because skin tone usually has reds and oranges in it. So I'm just going to darken those colors to make the skin a little bit darker and richer. And after that, I'm just going to come straight into the hue values. So I feel like the oranges were a little bit on the yellow side. You can see right in this area, you can see the skin is a little bit orange. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come and I make the oranges red in color, just like that, by moving this towards the left hand side. Remember, moving a given slider in the hue values towards the left hand side is going to make that color look like a color on top of it. So if at all I hue the oranges towards the left hand side, is making the oranges red in color, and I'm just going to come to the reds in this case. And remember, the image has turned out red, so I'm just going to make the reds a little bit more on the orange side to balance that, or to give the image a better balance, just like that. So just going to take this a little bit more on the red side, and just look at a quick before and after for just the color mixer. That's the before, and this is what we have right now, before and after. So after that, I'm just going to come straight into my yellows or the saturation values, and I'm just going to take out the yellows because I feel like they're a little bit contradicting with the skin tones of our model here. And I'm also going to take down the saturation of our oranges, just like that, around -10, and also take down the saturation of our red slightly, because we don't want to take out the color or like too much from the lips. So I'm just going to leave the lips looking a little bit on the natural side. So this is the before and after for our color mixer, and that looks okay. It looks great. So I'm just going to come back to the hue values, and I'm just going to make the oranges a little bit more on the, I'm just going to make the yellows a little bit more on the orange side, just like that, to make or to strike a balance between the skin tone. So this looks okay. It looks great, but this is not all for the color grading process. So we just want to get the skin to look better. So I'm just going to come and under saturation and take out the magentas from the image. So this looks okay. So after that, the next thing I tend to do is coming under our split toning. So under split toning, what I tend to do, I just add a little bit of blues within the shadows. So what you have to do first, just come and take the saturation slider slightly up, and that is going to look a little bit awkward, but don't mind. So usually I tend to cool down the shadows or add that kind of bluish feel to the shadows to reduce on the yellowness in the image. So I'm just going to come to the shadows, and I take the hue of the shadows up to when I feel like I have reached or strike a point between the blue option in the shadows. So after that, I'm just going to come and take down or dial back the saturation of that color just a little bit, up to around 6. 6 looks okay, it looks great. So anything I tend to do, I tend to add greens to the highlights. So I'm just going to do the same, take up the saturation and simply take it up to when I feel like I have that point between the cyans or the greens around there, and slightly take down the saturation. So this looks okay to me. It looks great. So let's look at a quick before and after for the color grading. This is the before and this is the after. Before, after. So after that, I'm just going to go straight into my calibration. So under calibration, I'm just going to simply calibrate the image. So under this, I'm just going to play around with the red primary, the green primary, and our blue primary. So under this, I'm just going to come and desaturate the saturation in the red primary up to around -5 looks okay. I'm just going to take up the hues up to around 7. 7 looks okay. Then I'm going to come straight to my blue primary and simply reduce on the image intensity or the colors in the overall image. Then I'm going to come and add a tint to the shadows, that is a magenta tint to the overall shadows of the image. So this is okay. And let me show you a quick before and after for the calibration tool. So this is a before and after. Before, after, it is very subtle, but this looks okay. So this is what I would do when it comes to color grading within Camera Raw. And what I would do next, I would just simply come and hit open. So don't press done, just come and simply press open to open the image into Photoshop, and I'll do the final color grading within Photoshop itself. So let me show you what I'll do when it comes to color grading within Photoshop. So I usually do the color grading I'm about to show you in Photoshop after my skin retouching. So for this case, I won't do any skin retouching to the image, so I just go straight into the color grading. So I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to create a black and white adjustment layer. Simply come and change the blend mode to multiply and simply reduce the opacity all the way to 0 and slightly take it up to add more contrast to the image at around 2 looks okay. Then I'm going to come to my HSL panel, and this is where the magic is going to take place, and simply come to the reds and come to the lightness and just take that down up to around 11 looks okay, around 10. Now do the same for the yellows and just take that down, and just look at how nice the skin tones are, just looking very nice and even. So after that, I'm just going to come to my selective color, and what I tend to do, I tend to come to the blacks and I intensify the blacks in the image and add a little bit of that kind of bluish tone to the overall image in the blacks, and that makes the image pop a little bit more. So let me show you a quick before and after for the color grading within Photoshop itself. So I'm just going to group this, and this is the before and after for color grading within Photoshop. So basically, this is how you can color grade your images using Camera Raw and Photoshop itself. If at all you don't have Capture One, and if at all you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If at all you have been watching and you're not subscribed yet to this channel, Ronix from Ronix Photography. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in yet more amazing tutorials, and don't forget to keep practicing and also keep creating.